This is why Donna went to prison. This right here is why Donna went to prison. Wendy and Harvey should be next. You must follow the law. The law says...
Glorious. Is it a lawsuit? Probably. Why not?
Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Buckle Up. It's the Law with attorney Larry Forman. Folks, today you're going to learn the reason why Donna Adelson went to prison. If you have missed the first part of the closing argument, oh my God, go watch it. What are you even doing here? This is the second part. You definitely have to watch the first part. I lost it. I have completely lost my mind. I could not even describe to you in this video. You have to watch the abhorrent presentation, the abhorrent representation of Donna Adelson by her former used to be on the bench attorney, got removed from the bench for very interesting reasons, which we will not discuss in this video. I made a separate X of what happened to her lawyer, so nothing you need to concern yourself with. But she used to be a judge, and she was removed from the bench, if that doesn't tell you everything you need to know. Now, today, we are going to finish the closing argument by the defense. It's about 40 minutes, purely, with my commentary, of course, because that's why you're here. And then there's going to be about 20 minutes of rebuttal by the state. Folks, you are about to learn the real reason why Donna Adelson went to prison to serve a life sentence. So without further ado, with that set up, don't forget to like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and let's go.
They put this evidence in.
We're back.
They got nothing to show that my client was involved in any way leading up to the time that he was killed.
And by the way, when you're doing your closing argument, never say my client, my client. She's a person. You got a human. It's the prosecution's job to call her the defendant. You know, the government likes to do this. They'll call her the defendant, to kind of dehumanize her, to make it easier to convict, because you're not convicting a person, ladies and gentlemen. You're just convicting the defendant. No, Donna, Mrs. Adelson, Ms. Adelson, Donna Adelson, call her any variation of those things. Never call her my client. I mean, thank God she hasn't gone so far as to call her the defendant. I've seen that too, and that's, oh my God, it's one of the worst things you can possibly do as a lawyer, as a criminal defense lawyer. But, folks, just watch. Just watch. This is insanity. This is literally the textbook example of how not to do a closing statement or a closing argument, whatever you want to call it. My client. You know, when you say my client, you say that to the judge, not to the people who are about to put her in prison, or not.
But they elicited the testimony that it was 2 months after the murder when Charlie Adelson discloses for the first time to his mother what he knows about the case. Now,
of course, we're still yelling. Why are we yelling? I don't know.
Knows is what he's telling her. But it's 2 months after the murder when he's telling her, well, what happened was I got a girlfriend, and I had told her about this $1 million offer, and she said it in front of some of her friends, and they've gone up there and killed Danny Markell, and now they're demanding money. And so they said if I didn't turn over my third of the $1 million, this is what he claims that they elicited, if I didn't turn over that money, then I'd be dead in 48 hours or they'd kill my family. So he goes into his safe and pulls out $138,000 cash, puts it in a bag, gives it to Katie, tells his mother 2 months after the homicide, now he's being extorted. She works at Adelson Institute. They want you to believe this is a family business. Does family work there? Clearly. But who owns the business? Who does the money belong to?
Sorry, I'm allergic to bullshit.
Who is Mrs. Adelson writing and paying all the bills for? Who's she doing the salary for? Everybody there. Everybody there. So he tells her right around $1,000 a month to Katie Magbanawa. It'll save my life. They had this forensic investigator, and they didn't present anything to you, not a single check ever that Charlie Adelson signed for his business, because he had his mother paying the bills, doing salary and other things at the dental office. That's him paying these people. She's doing her job because he says it'll save his life. She believed it was the truth, so she did what he told her to do. Was there pushback or not? We don't know. They didn't present any evidence about that. They claim she would have pushed back. Maybe she did. We don't know. But what we do know is it's 2 months after the murder before she knows what has gone down. That's their evidence. But she conspired with people to have him killed. She got the hitman to have him killed, and she wanted him killed, and he ended up dead. She doesn't even know about this going on. And the only version she knows is what her son has told her.
What?
Did she say, oh, the truth's coming out, the truth's coming out, the truth's coming out? She did, because that's what Charlie had told her the truth was. And that's her son. And she believed him. And she didn't want her son to die. She wrote paychecks at Charlie's instruction. That's not her giving cash and paying off murderers. That's a paycheck to Katie. That's it. That's all she did.
Again, notice how the defense is cherry picking. We talked about this in the first part, in the first video. Remember? She's cherry picking certain things. That by itself, not evidence, not a crime. All right, let's look at this in isolation. This right here, not evidence, not a crime. This right here, cherry picking, isolation. This right here, not evidence, not a crime. Yeah, but when you take it all together and you turn it into a cohesive story, yes, it is evidence, and yes, it is evidence of the commission of a crime, because everything points, every finger points to Donna. You see what I mean? Bad defense
So we're
work.
bumping along, and now we're in 2016, and it's a bump. Law enforcement testified to you that they created this scenario where they could try and get information to further investigate this homicide. So they've locked in on Mrs. Adelson, so they're going to set her up. Funny thing is, Mr. Sanford testified to what probable cause is that you have to get a wiretap on somebody's phone, and you have to have proof that a crime has been committed, and this is likely the person who committed the crime.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I cannot believe this lady actually went there. Okay, folks, let me explain something to you. Probable cause, reasonable suspicion, blah, blah, blah. Police officer has a right, has no right to do this. That is a legal argument, not a factual argument. You are before the trier of fact, not before the trier of law. The trier of law is seated to your left, okay? Let me explain how devastating it is what this lawyer has just unleashed. If I'm a juror and I hear this, to me, you know what it sounds like? Sneaky lawyer tactics, because that's exactly what they are. Sneaky lawyer tactics. You're trying to exclude evidence. This is inadmissible evidence. I, as a juror, I don't care. I want to hear everything. So if you're going to start telling me, like, this shouldn't have been admitted, this is improper, they needed probable cause, and they didn't get it, I, as a juror, go, okay, so your sneaky lawyer tactics failed? Why do I care? Now I get to hear all the evidence without your meddling and your interference, Ms. Defense Lawyer. You're just losing points by the second. The minute those words left her lips, I was like, I felt a dagger in my heart going, you just lost. The jury is now literally, for the rest of her closing, I would be shocked if they're able to maintain and continue listening to her. She has officially labeled herself as the enemy by doing exactly what she just did. Wow. That's incredible. That is absolute. I have never seen anything worse than that. To make a legal argument to a trier of fact, a legal argument to a jury who the sole purpose is to determine guilt or innocence. They don't get to go back and say, well, let's see, did they have probable cause affidavit in order to search her person, in order to find the wiretap, in order to get the information? You know what they care about? We heard it and we believe it. Guilty. Oh, wow. It does not get worse than this, folks. It does not get worse than this. Never, as a criminal defense attorney, never do this, ever. You will destroy your reputation. Even if everything was going swimmingly, you have just unleashed their tentacles of danger. You are the enemy, and they'll stop listening to you, and they will never trust you.
On a reasonable doubt, it's the same that you have to get a warrant to arrest someone. But when they do this bump in April of 2016 to June, who do they get wiretaps on? Charlie Adelson and Catherine Magbanawah. Not Donna Adelson. But they're just sure she's the mastermind behind this. So what do they do?
So I, as a juror, think, okay, well, she was good at covering her tracks. Show me the problem.
They follow her. They watch her daily routine. They pick a location where she is taking her grandchildren, Mr. Markel's children, to and from school. And they decide that's where they're going to do this bump. This is State's Exhibit 113 of the bump on the street that took place on April the 19th of 2016.
Black George, what is it? Okay, okay. Excuse me, Mrs. Adelson? How you doing? Just want to give you this. Listen, no, don't be scared. Listen, just want to let you know that we know that your family has been taking care of Katie and her friend Louisville for quite some time. After your problem of more than you are. And I want to let you know that my brother, he's incarcerated. He helped his family with this problem that he's had before. And we want to make sure that you don't just run high. We want to make sure that you take care of what he's going through, the way you're taking care of Katie and Tifa. Well, this will explain it. Thank you.
Why is the defense playing that clip? I don't get it. It literally highlights her guilt, how she's just calm, cool, and collected. Like, oh, how, my friend Katie is taken care of. I want my friend who's incarcerated taken care of too. She's just like, oh, okay. That highlights her guilt. The defense is helping convict her. Do you see what they're doing? I don't think her lawyer realizes what she's doing, honestly. I really don't. This is horrific. This is the worst closing I've ever heard in my life. At least try.
What did she say? You scared me. And he goes on his little explanation, and her response is, I don't know what you're talking about. Now, the state says, from what happens next, which is a phone call that Mrs. Adelson makes, she has to be involved in this murder. Because she doesn't call the cops, she calls Charlie. Well, why'd she call Charlie? Because Charlie has confessed to her his role in paying the killers back in September of 2014, that it's his money, claiming he's being extorted, claiming his life is at risk. That's who she's going to call, because guess what? Now this man is talking about the people who are involved in the murder. You're taking care of Katie. So yes, she calls. And the state wants you to believe that there's this huge made-up code. They allowed you to look at the transcripts when that was going on, and you looked, I watched, you were all intent looking at the transcripts and listening to the calls. If you go back and want to hear them again, you're welcome to do that. She's responding to his questions and his instructions not to talk about this on the phone, but he keeps pushing and pushing and pushing, so she's trying to give him a hint without actually saying on the phone what's going on. These are hints, not code words like the state wants you to believe. Could I have just 1 second, please?
The prosecutors, God bless them, they're so unbothered. You can tell.
Wolford, you may continue with the defense closing argument.
As you recall from the testimony, there was a meeting between Charlie Adelson and Catherine Magbanawa after the mother had it was after the bump, right? Do you have that?
Are you serious? Come on.
The transcript of that. You can't make out everything they say, but this is part of the transcript that I wanted to point out to you. This is Charlie Adelson talking. Don't waste your time with mom. They need to talk to someone who's first person. Wouldn't it make sense that they make a connection to my family, to me, to my family, not my mom? And then he says to Katie, "You're the office help. Checks are on me. That's just because they found out you come in and work on the weekends."
Okay,
Trust
so
me.
her son is trying to protect his mom. That's all it is. What son would not try to protect his mom after he's been caught?
"I'll keep you on full time, so you're going to get your checks." That's Charlie Adelson agreeing that he's keeping her on payroll, and the checks from him will keep coming. After the bump on the street, Mrs. Adelson receives a letter. And the statement from, or the evidence that came from the state's witness, you recall that he said that his instructions on when he met her on the street was to be polite. This is not so polite. The next thing, she gets a letter and it says, "So my phone is not ringing, so you don't care about Tato and what he did for you. He knows he is fucked, and soon so will you." Now, it doesn't say "I'm going to kill you," but now the threatening behavior is coming, and they're taking the next step to try and get Mrs. Adelson to come out and admit to something. If she pays the $5,000, bingo, right? She doesn't do that. So that happened on April the 26th. Then she does nothing still. She's scared, and you recall from the phone calls, she's scared. She thinks it's someone related to the killer. She's worried about her safety. She thinks something bad is going to happen to her, but Charlie just keeps saying, "Mom, everything's okay. You have nothing to worry about." Then on May the 4th at 2:09 in the morning, the undercover sends her a text message, 2:09 in the morning. "So you don't take me serious. You think I'm playing. You have some puta call me to see if I'm for real? If you think what Katie baby daddy did for you can't come back, you're fucking crazy. I want the now, or I'm going after the 100K. So, threatening. "I'm going to go to the police. This is not going away. Don't think that I'm gone. We're still here, and you're going to do something about it." That happens on May the 4th. As you recall from going through the wire summary with the state, other calls take place in between. And then on May the 6th, finally, Donna calls the undercover at the number that he had provided initially, that shows here on State's Exhibit 83 with the article about Danny Markell being murdered. Call or text, that's the number that was provided, 305-712-6570, and the dollar amount of $5,000. Now, the state has said to you, innocent people don't fold the paper up and put it in their pocket. I'm pretty sure there's not going to be a jury instruction that tells you she must be guilty because she folded it up and put it in her pocket. Oh my God. She took it very seriously. She got her grandchildren, she went home, and she immediately called Charlie to report that. But now she's calling the number that was provided.
She called Charlie to report it, not law enforcement. You literally, again, helped admit Donna's guilt. She called her son, Charlie. Charlie, who has been orchestrating the whole damn thing, which you literally just said to this jury. First thing she did, call Charlie. "Hey, Charlie, they know. We've got a problem. Let's meet and talk in person." The jury already heard all of this in the prosecution's closing. If you missed it, go check it out. It's on my channel. I broke it down in 2 videos as well, because they're quite long. Each closing was about 2 hours. There's like 4 hours. This whole closing from The prosecution all the way to the defense took 4 hours. So you have about 6 hours with all of my commentary. That's 2 hours of commentary. That's pretty impressive. Anyway, just realize how long this is going to be. My God. Wow. She's throwing her own client under the bus without even realizing it. I mean, that's skill. That is skill, to be so ignorant and so blind that you're throwing your own client under the bus and not even realizing it. Read the room, lady.
And you've heard from the testimony, she downloaded an app so it could be recorded, but of course it was being recorded by the undercover as well. Could we play that call? And I think we have provided a transcript to you because it wasn't provided previously. If you'd like to read along.
This is Mrs. Adelson. Is this Sammy? Okay, my grandchildren had my phone before, so I
And you're Adelson?
I'm Mrs. Adelson.
Yes.
My grandchildren had my phone before, so that's, and I just saw that you called.
She looks so nervous.
Okay. You left a message on my voicemail.
Right, you did.
No.
This is my problem. You approached me on Fulton Road. You handed me an article from a newspaper about my ex-son-in-law. You told me I need to call you and help your friend who was in prison. Now, at the time you did that, I didn't understand what you were talking about. I didn't call you back. Then you mailed me a threatening letter. Then you send me a text message to my phone that says I'm not taking you seriously. So I am taking you seriously. And I really want you to listen to me. I have to tell you, I mean, this is important. I have been so stressed out. I have spoken to 10 or 12 people who are close friends of mine, telling them about this and basically picking their brains and asking them what I should do, because I don't know your friend who is in jail. You mentioned your name. I don't even know his name. I never spoke to him. I don't know what he looks like. I've never met him. I'm sorry your friend's in jail, but I don't know what that has to do with me.
You know exactly what it has to do with. You do know exactly what it has to do with. Listen to me carefully. Listen to me. You just gotta listen to me. No.
Who this person looks like, or what their name is, something, because I know there's a big reward out there, and if you need money for your friends, that's the way to get it. And I'm asking you nicely, I don't know who he is. I am out of the loop. It is not me. If I can help, I will help. I mean, that's what
just like I told you, listen to me. Just like I told you that day, we know that your family had a problem up north. We know that problem was taken care of about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. And we know that they have been taken care of. It has been taken care of. Now my brother in jail, we were in Broward together. He told me the whole thing. And he hasn't been taken care of. You know. Now, all that's being asked for is 5K. That's all we're asking for is 5K. And he told me everything, and I know everything. I know who's involved. I know everything, and I'll get that 100K for myself.
You know,
all I have is to send the 5K. Everybody knows what's going on.
You're saying everyone knows. I know I lost my ex-son-in-law. I did not have anything to do with it. That's why I said, ask him what.
That's what my brother Tasso told me. He told me everything when we were in jail. He told me everything and who was involved. I know
Fake
everything.
emotion.
Well, I don't. That's the problem. I am telling you, it's not me. It's not me. I have had a year of aggravation, 1.5 years of aggravation over this. My daughter, my grandchildren. It is not me. And when I asked my friends, what do they say? They said, well, this person needs to get a description of you because of what you look like. Or it's not me. I don't know caused this, it wasn't me. I mean, I don't know.
I'll tell you, just like that day when I talked to you, this is not going away. This is not going to go away. The stop told me everything. He was being taken care of. He needed the 5K. Spend 5K. That's all we were asking for. Don't do that.
Why is the defense playing this? This makes it look so guilty.
But you know who Katie is. And you know the contacts Katie has. And she has to listen to me. Let's stop fucking around. Let's stop fucking around. Okay? You know who Katie is. And you know that Katie has somebody that knows stuff. And they
When he talks like that and she just sits there and takes it, rather than just hang up on him and go, listen, buddy, I don't know I'm actually calling the police because you are harassing me. This is nothing to do with me, and I'm gonna report you to the police because this is wrong. You're accusing me of a heinous crime, murder, complicity to murder, conspiring to commit murder, hiring a murderer, paying for a murderer. I can't think of anything more serious to commit it against another individual. And you're going to sit there and just take it? And no, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. And just sit there and take it and take it and take it. It's our guilty conscience. The defense is sinking Donna's ship before your very eyes, before her very eyes. And the jury is paying attention to all of this. And you think the jury is not going, if I were her, I would just hang up and call 911 and report I'm being falsely accused of a murder. Did this defense attorney calculate how it's going to be perceived by the listeners? Or is she just like, I think this helps my case, so I'm going to play it? School of thought. Horrific. Horrific defense. Literally, she's helping the prosecution. She's helping the prosecution win right now by doing this.
took care of a problem.
By playing this tape.
That's just the bottom line. The bottom line is you know who the fuck Katie is.
Look, I don't.
I'm not fucking around with it. You know who Katie is. You know that they took care
And
of
the FBI agent is a professional psychologist. He is intentionally shutting her up and pushing her buttons because he wants her to go, okay, all right, I'll pay it. Will you please just leave us alone after that? Because then at 100%, that's an admission of guilt, that you are complicit.
And her people. Nobody's taking care of Tato. I know you don't know who Tato is.
No,
But we know who all of you are. And this ain't going away.
you know what?
So I can give you that. You send me 5K?
Here's what you need to do. You need to go and.
Don't tell me what to do. I know what to do and I'm doing it.
You're looking for money. Get $100,000 or whatever whatever the reward is. It isn't me. You have got the wrong person. That's why I said ask your friends.
You're Donna Adelson.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Oh, I know. And we know who's involved in all this.
Yes.
She can't even look at the jury.
I mean, if you want the money, you should get it from the police. They can give you a whole lot more than you're asking me for money for someone. I can't do this. I have had too much stress and too much aggravation from this, and I don't know what you are talking about. I just don't know. I just don't know.
Good. I think you should talk to Katie. Talk to the people that are involved in this. You'll know. You know what's going on.
That's why I'm.
You tell me.
And her silence is deafening. You know what's going on. The silence is deafening. Wow.
I know you know. Because I know, because I heard, when I was locked up in Broward with my brother's vessel, he told me everything. Everything. He told me everything.
That's the psychological trick the FBI uses. We already know. We already know. Even if they do or they don't is irrelevant. They make you believe that they know. And that hurts because you're like, oh, crap. I'm caught. What do I do now?
Well, then
I just wanted to take care of him because fucking Katie was being taken care of with her fucking food.
I just think instead of asking me, you should get the money from the police. There's a lot of money out there, and I know, if you think you know who this is, then go ahead and do it, because I know it isn't me. I know it isn't me. And I can't take this kind of level of stress. I just can't. I know I didn't do anything.
Now she says that? Why didn't you say it in the beginning? This is evidence of guilt, not innocence.
You talk to people, you make this 5K come to me. That's all I need. Just do it and get it to me. Do it and get it to me.
Silence.
Bye.
And the fact that he has
They
to hang up on
tried
her.
5 different times. I'm sorry. Did you want a particular position? Sorry, Judge. 5 times they tried. They tried to get her to pay the money. They tried to get her to admit that she was involved in this, and 5 times it failed because Mrs. Adelson tells them in this call, he keeps telling her, I know everything, I know everybody, I know what happened, and she tells him in this call, if you know, go to the police. Go to the police and get the reward. Why in the world, if she's guilty of committing these crimes, is she telling somebody who apparently knows everything to go to the police? If you're guilty, you're not sending anybody to the police. That's why they think they can get her with the 5K. But she didn't do it. And still consistently, Charlie is saying, nothing to worry about, don't worry. You can hear the fear and worry in her voice on that call.
Did you just highlight it? You can hear the fear and worry on that call. What does she have to be worried about if she did nothing wrong? Why would she be afraid if she did nothing wrong? What side is this woman on? I'm trying to figure it out now because she's playing for the prosecution. She's supposed to be playing for the defense. Wild.
Now, the state talks about coding and code words, and one of the things they say is that in one of the discussions with Charlie, Mrs. Adelson says, it's about the 2 of us. It couldn't be more clear what that means. Her son told her in September of 2014 that he got extorted, he has to pay this money, he has paid the money, and he's going to keep paying the money so he doesn't get killed, right? Now somebody has walked up to her on the street about the exact same subject, Mr. Markell being killed, and demanding $5,000 from her. So now he's brought her into this. It is the 2 of them. They're not knocking on his door. They're coming up to her on the street. They're sending her text messages. They're sending letters. They're calling. They won't stop. But she didn't do anything. If her son did, that's on him, not her. There's no evidence that if Charlie Adelson had not told her in September of 2014 what he told her, there's no evidence that she would know anything at all about what happened. That's her single source. And he brought it to her. Bring cash. That's one of the things she says. Bring cash. Without telling him what has happened on the street, she's telling him they want cash. That's not code. That's hint, hint, hint. You don't want to talk on the phone, but you won't stop asking me, so I'm going to hint to you what this is about. There's nothing code about that. The state is interpreting what they think these things mean. It's not their interpretation that matters, it's the evidence that's presented. The judge has read you the jury instructions, so I'm not going over all of them with you. But I want to say this. Murder in the first degree, the state has to prove that on July the 18th of 2014, Donna Adelson intended that Dan Markell be killed on that date. They have to prove that. There's no evidence of it.
Okay, well, you can't just say there's no evidence. Show it, lady. Don't just tell us. Show us why. That's how you do a defense in a closing argument. Give us what evidence you have, but she's nothing. That's why she just says it, throws it, they have nothing. That's not how you win a case. That's how you lose a case.
First degree murder is killing with premeditation. is killing after consciously deciding to do so, the decision must be present in the mind at the time of the killing. The premeditated intent to kill must be formed before the killing. They've got no evidence of her doing anything until after Mr. Markell is dead, when she writes the checks at the instruction of her son. Conspiracy. The state has to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the intent of Donna Adelson was that the offense of first-degree murder would be committed on the date that he's killed, not after the date, before and up to the time that he's shot and killed. She
should have started with this. This is an hour and a half into her closing. She's about to be done in about 15 minutes here. That's what she should have started with. Why is it at the end of her argument? Because she knows it's a losing argument.
have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that she had that intent, and they have nothing. Solicitation to commit first-degree murder. They have to prove the following two elements beyond a reasonable doubt. I'm sorry, back to conspiracy. I forgot to say this. In order to carry out the intent, Donna Adelson had to agree, conspire, combine, or confederate with Charles Adelson or Catherine Magbanawa or other persons to cause the first-degree murder to be committed. Had to be before, no evidence of it. Solicitation, prove the following two elements beyond a reasonable doubt. Donna Adelson solicited Charles Adelson or Catherine Magbanawa or other persons to commit first-degree murder. During the solicitation, Donna Adelson commanded, encouraged, hired, or requested Charles Adelson or Catherine Magbanawa or other persons to engage in specific conduct which would constitute the commission of first-degree murder. What does solicit mean? It means to ask earnestly or to try to induce another person to engage in specific conduct. We know that the state has not presented evidence of Mrs. Adelson actually shooting and killing Dan Markell. They are asking that you find her to be a principal, that these other people did the killing, but she's a principal. And to prove that she's a principal, you have to show that she helped another person or persons commit the crime. In doing so, the state has to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant intended the crime to occur and the defendant did some act or said something that was intended to and that did incite, cause, encourage, assist, or advise the other person or persons to actually commit the crime. For first-degree premeditated murder, the state must prove the defendant intended that the killing of Daniel Markell
I guarantee the jury's already asleep.
occur. Then you heard the
Their mind is
instruction
made up.
of
Their
a
mind is
principal
completely
when
made up.
active participant is hired by the defendant. If the defendant paid or promised to pay another person or persons to commit a crime, to commit a crime means she paid or promised to pay them before they killed him. There is no evidence of that at all. She never paid any of her money. All she did was write the checks that her son told her to write from his business account. It says you have to show that she made or promised the payment in exchange for the commission or promised to commit the crime or to help commit the crime. Nothing. There's nothing at all linking her to Catherine Magbanawa, Sigfredo Garcia, or Luis Rivera. Her link to Charlie Adelson is it's her son. They like to show those little arrows going back and forth like it's a train, I think they said. This isn't a train. This is somebody's life. Danny Markell's life.
Oh,
and now
God.
Donna Adelson's life. This isn't cute. This isn't powdered sugar.
What?
They have charged my client with first-degree murder.
My client?
Conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, solicitation of the people to kill, and their example is she's got powdered sugar all over her. No, she doesn't.
Oh my
They
God.
want you to believe it. That's their theory, but a theory doesn't prove a crime. They have to present evidence, and they haven't done that.
They kind of did, lady. I hate to say it.
Let's talk about Vietnam
Yeah, let's talk about Vietnam.
and the evidence that the state has introduced Their exhibits 129 and 130 are the visas for Donna Adelson and Harvey Adelson. That one's Harvey.
And by the way, for the record, somebody pointed out, like, Larry, Vietnam is a great place to visit. I am not trying to hate on Vietnam. I'm sure Vietnam is a beautiful country. You know, one of them, not the other. But if you know what I'm talking about. But they're still beautiful. One of them you probably just don't really want to go to as an American citizen. You know what I mean? But anyway, realistically speaking, visiting Vietnam is probably gorgeous and beautiful and amazing. And they've got amazing food and amazing culture and amazing people, and everything is going to be wonderful. But when your son goes to prison in November of 2023 and you within days are asking for expedited travel visas after Googling countries that don't have extradition to the United States, when you combine them, that's the problem. Let's see how she tries to weasel her way out of this one.
Now, there's something very important about these. It says their name and what they're going to do. You see that line? It's in, I guess that's Vietnamese, but underneath it, it's in English. And it says, good for single/multiple entries. That it is a visa for tourism, not residence. It's a visa for tourism. They can come and go as they please. And that it is good until, where's that date? Here it is. It's good until, they put the dates backwards. So this is February the 5th of 1950. And the state says, oh, well, she was going to be gone past the date of the bar mitzvah. This visa allows them to come home, and if they want to go back, go back. Now here's something really important.
Did she just say February 8th, 1950? I'm sorry. It said September 9th, 2028. I think this woman was reading Donna Adelson's date of birth. How do you not realize that?
The state said that we're trying to tell you she was going on vacation. That's not true. Her prior attorney testified that before there was a conviction, she was very upset.
It's embarrassing.
And said she wanted to kill herself if her son was convicted. And her husband was concerned about her doing that, so he wanted to get her away, to clear her head.
To a country that doesn't have extradition with the United States, so they can never come after her to prosecute her if they want to prosecute her. Oh my God. Come on. Do you really think anyone's buying what you're saying?
Drastic step. That's not a vacation. She's beyond herself. And then he gets convicted. And it's worse.
Did you just say it's not a vacation?
And here's the thing.
I don't think
the state
I have a
even
feeling
said,
that this woman doesn't understand the words that are coming out of her mouth. I'm not joking. Again, it's if she has memory problems, look, I'm sure when I'm at that age, I may or may not be similar. I'm not trying to hate on this woman, but you're representing an individual who is going to spend the rest of their life in prison. Donna could live to be 100. She'll spend 25 years in prison. You have to do a competent job.
Since this woman was arrested, that she was going to flee this country to avoid prosecution. Flee. She's going away. She is not coming back. She's going somewhere where we could never get her and bring her back. They took almost nothing with them. They took a few credit cards, some cash, 2 pieces of luggage, and 1 carry-on. This is...
Look at the prosecutor's handstands. She's just like... That is a power stance right here, ladies and gentlemen. This is a power stance, if I've ever seen one. The prosecution is completely unfazed, unrattled, ready to go. Meanwhile, the one on the left, she's just got a look on her face. The whelp look, as I like to call it. Whelp.
Defense Exhibit 147. When the search warrant was executed, after Mrs. Adelson was taken into custody, here's the luggage in plain view with the tags on it to go to one stop and then to Vietnam. And
by the way, the one stop, also a country that does not have extradition with the United States. You know, just to be on the safe side.
I'm sorry, not criticizing. I think you gotta hold it. In any event, there's the luggage. It's there when the search warrant is executed, and the gentleman from Miami, what did he tell you about that when they executed the search warrant? They didn't even look in the luggage to see what they had.
Because they don't care. They don't need to. They don't need
Not
it.
even look in the luggage.
Who cares?
More important than that is they conducted, according to him, a thorough search. And this is State's Exhibit 160.
Cherry
And
picking.
it's not real easy to see, and I might just have to pass it along to you because this is really blurry.
Just cherry picking. Horrible close-up. Horrible.
You see that? You see that little light down there underneath the white shirt? See that? That's the size of Mrs. Adelson's safe, sitting there on that little shelf. They never even bothered to open it and look in it to see if there's any stapled cash. That little bitty safe on that shelf, is that where she allegedly got $138,000 in cash and washed it and stapled it after she got this phone call and took it up to Charlie? Never happened. Couldn't happen. Wasn't going to happen. And the investigator was so concerned about it, he never even touched it.
Right, because they had so much evidence against this woman, they didn't need anything else.
But here's what the state presented, and just like so much other evidence that they presented in their case, this is a state witness. And on cross-examination, when asked, Sergeant Chris Corbett testified there was no proof that they were actually going to flee. When confronted with the 90-day visa, his testimony was, well, they were going to be gone a long time. That's not fleeing. That's not avoiding prosecution.
It is when you Google it.
She got arrested almost 2 years ago under that claim. And it took them almost 2 years to come in here and have a jury seated on these serious charges, and they finally admit there was no evidence.
The justice system does move slow. Okay, so one good point that you have made. Yes, it took them 2 years to bring these charges before a jury. It's not uncommon. And maybe the defense contributed to it by filing motions to suppress, etc. Maybe the court docket was clogged. That's not an argument. Not a good one, at least.
Danny Markill was killed on July the 18th of 2014, and Mrs. Adelson, according to Agent Sanford, was a person of interest, but she was not arrested in 2014. They immediately started, according to him, gathering bank account information, emails, phone records of Donna Adelson. 2015, she was not arrested. In 2016, they conducted the bump operation against Donna Adelson, and we've just gone through that entire bump operation. And still, even though others were arrested, Donna Adelson was not arrested.
They were building her case against
She was
her.
not arrested in 2017. She was not arrested in 2018. She was not arrested in 2019 or 20 or 21 or 22. Not arrested. And what did Agent Sanford tell you? That they had listened in on this call or heard the recorded call where Mrs. Adelson thinks she's gotten cut off from her son, and she's talking about going away, getting airline tickets, and she wants to kill herself. She talks about it on there. She wants her and Harvey to do it together. And he wants to get her out of town and away from the media and clear her head. And Agent Sanford
And avoid
said, here's how
prosecution.
invested he is. They think they might get a warrant for her on the day that she's arrested. They're not sure if they're going to try or not.
Again,
But maybe they're going-
you look like a villain when you start talking about warrants, lady. That's an argument to a judge, not a jury. A jury doesn't care.
So he's up here in Tallahassee, and what does he do? He hops in his car and he starts driving towards Miami, not even knowing whether they're going to try to get a warrant. When Mrs. Adelson got her visa, there was not a warrant. She was doing nothing wrong. When she booked the ticket, or Rick Sugarin helped book the ticket, there was no warrant. She was not doing anything wrong. She got advice of her legal counsel that there was no warrant. There was no promise with Mrs. Kappelman, but her lawyer told her of the possibility if they got a warrant, she could self-surrender and turn herself in. She packed her bags, no warrant. She gets in her car to drive to the airport, no warrant. She gets to the airport, and sometime therein, they actually get a warrant, and she knows nothing about it. They go to where she is seated with her husband, waiting for the flight to board, sitting down amongst the crowd, and they watch her and wait, even though they've got a warrant. They don't arrest her. And he gives some, oh, well, you know, there was a crowd of people. There's no more crowd than when you enter the jetway and everybody's trying to get on the airplane. They waited until she presented her ticket and walked through the little door so they could say that she was actually fleeing. It was a setup. They knew exactly what was going on. They set her up so they could claim, oh, we captured the matriarch murderer. She was fleeing the country to flee prosecution, never to return. It was a great story. Got a lot of headlines. Spun with their theory. But we're in trial almost 2 years later, and they know she wasn't fleeing this country. You know, I'm gonna sum it up here. And this is from the state's evidence. TPD, FDLE, the FBI, and one agency in Miami-Dade are all involved. They have people listening to phone calls around the clock, 24 hours a day during this 2-month bump period. In their investigation, in their words, they have collected hundreds of thousands of emails, over 2,000 phone calls during that 2-month period, recorded text messages, bank records. They got experts analyzing all of this stuff. They got cell tower records, and I don't even understand all that stuff, but it supposedly can place you
It's your job.
in places. They've been working on this case, according to Agent Sanford, right up until the time he was sitting on the stand, still investigating Donna Adelson. If you were going to have proof that Donna Adelson committed a crime, you should have had it beyond a reasonable doubt before you put handcuffs on her in the Miami International Airport. They still didn't even know that day if they were going to arrest her. In all the evidence they have collected, she can't help herself but run her mouth. Not a single email, no phone calls that are recorded, no written documents, no emails, not one single thing that said anything about wanting Danny Markell killed. The most aggressive thing they have are her foul words and wanting to aggravate him. This is not, could she possibly have done it? Could she probably have done it? Might she have done it? You have been sitting here hearing testimony for almost 2 weeks, and there's not a single piece of evidence that connects my client to that murder. Charlie Adelson? Yep. Potentially Wendy Adelson? She's the one who said she hated him. She's the one fighting with him in court.
Wow, throwing Wendy
Donna
again.
Adelson? Nothing. Not a single piece of evidence. You have to find her not guilty because they have failed to do their job on all 3 counts. They cannot prove she had him killed. At the time that he was killed, she had paid anybody or asked anybody to do it. Please take this case seriously. Please go back and review the evidence. Please discuss what's been presented. Don't get talked into something that you don't agree with. The verdict has to be unanimous. If you don't reach an agreement, if you can't be unanimous, there's another procedure we go through. But please don't buy into what the state is about to do,
Please?
telling me how wrong I am or telling you how wrong.
Is she begging them to not find Donna guilty? Is she legit just begging them? Is this her strategy? Please, you guys, pretty please with a cherry on top, don't do it. Oh my God.
I am about everything and how they have this mountain of evidence because they...
As people say, when you have the facts, you pound the facts. When you have the law, you pound the law. When you have neither, you pound the desk. You pound the podium.
admitted it. Agent Sanford admitted it. There is no direct evidence linking Donna to anything. And all this circumstantial evidence isn't really circumstantial evidence. It's argument about what it could mean, what it possibly mean. Could it have been? That's not beyond a reasonable doubt.
Horrific job.
Thank you.
Horrific. Absolutely horrific. The defense has no idea what she's doing. She has no idea what she has done. It was catastrophic for her client's case. She has just destroyed and eradicated Donna Adelson's future, and we all know what happens. So,
Ms. Fulford, state, you may give your rebuttal.
Well, you all tired of hearing lawyers talk yet? Down for another hour or two?
you have to remember, I'm a criminal defense attorney. I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, she's a criminal defense attorney, so I have to like follow. Obviously, clearly, you can see I don't agree with a single thing that she has done. But the prosecutor, she knows she's got her. She knows she's got a case. She knows she's got the facts. She's backed it up. She's got the evidence. She's got the receipts. She brought receipts, folks. She's brought receipts. That's why she can be like, are you all tired of hearing lawyers talk yet? I know you, she can't say it, but in her mind, she's like, I know you already made up your mind. I've been sitting here looking at you. I watched you as you listened to my colleague, or maybe it was, I forget if it was her or her colleague who did the closing. Maybe it was her. I think it was her. You know, you've heard me talk for a couple of hours, and now you get to hear me for another 20 minutes. You guys tired of listening to lawyers yet? She can be lighthearted because she knows she's got her. She knows she's going to win.
I think I've got 7 minutes. He hasn't started the timer yet. Okay.
So
it does not matter what Miss Fulford thinks, if she's right, if she's wrong, if I'm right, if I'm wrong. What the lawyers say is not evidence. You have the evidence before you. They say it means one thing. I say it means something else. Only you guys decide, right? I think outside your house means outside your house. But apparently outside your house means something else. I think a very contentious divorce means a very contentious divorce. They think it means an amicable divorce. You guys decide, right? Look at the evidence and you guys decide. Is everything not what it seems and actually something else?
She's flustered.
You guys decide.
Just like the jury. She's echoing what the jury is thinking. They're flustered. You want us to not use our common sense in this regard. Like, yes, we understand beyond a reasonable doubt is the standard, which, by the way, if nothing else, I think I just realized something and I want to share it with you. When you have nothing, when you truly have nothing, you know what you do? As a criminal defense attorney, you focus on, and sometimes it'll work, usually it will fail. It all depends on the jurisdiction that you're in, the kind of jurors you have. If you're in a big city, this is more likely to work. If you're in the country, it's less likely to work based on experience. When you truly have nothing and your client is probably guilty, you know what you could do, and sometimes works, is argue beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, what do I mean by that? Beyond a reasonable doubt is the standard. It's the highest standard in the land. Now, I always mention it, even when my client, absolutely, when my client is 100% innocent, that's exactly when I talk about it too. But when you don't have much of anything else, and this is all you have to go on, if you just focus in on, ladies and gentlemen, you know, this is the highest standard. They have not met their burden. Yes, all this evidence looks damning. And you may sit there and go, yeah, she probably did it. But that is not enough. She probably did it is not guilty. And that's very important. And the defense did not do it in this case. The defense is done. That's it. They will never get to speak again on this case. She probably did it equals not guilty. She most likely did it equals not guilty. You have to be certain beyond a reasonable doubt that she did it. Otherwise, you would deprive an innocent woman of her future, of her freedom. And you know what? When you empower jurors like that, when they go back to deliberate, they may start second guessing. Like, I don't know. Did they prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt? I don't know. The evidence was pretty damning, but that bump, I don't know. I listened to that audio. It sounded like she probably did, but she never admitted it. Do they have it beyond a reasonable doubt? And that's what I would hammer. You hammer the law. Beyond a reasonable doubt. Beyond a reasonable doubt. You make them sick to their stomachs to the point where they're like, will you stop saying beyond a reasonable doubt? That's where you want them to be. When you get the jurors to that beyond a reasonable doubt standard, no matter what the prosecution does, if they try to like common sense and look at how good our argument is, the defense then empowers the jury. And then when they go back to deliberate and they start thinking, wait, beyond a reasonable doubt, but beyond a reasonable doubt, beyond a reasonable doubt, they start repeating that statement if you've done your job successfully automatically. And that's exactly what happened in the OJ case. That's how OJ got away with murder, because the jury was listening to evidence for 9 months. 9-month jury trial, day in, day out, testimony, more witnesses, more testimony, defense witnesses, prosecution witnesses, not in that order. By the time this case was submitted to the jury, they were so confused, ladies and gentlemen. One of the first trials to be televised, major celebrity trials, I should say, because I guess the Menendez brothers happened around that time, maybe a little before then. There were a few others. It's very important as a criminal defense lawyer to empower the jury. I think I've heard the words beyond a reasonable doubt come out of the defense attorney's mouth maybe 3 times, 4 times, 5 if I'm being generous, in a 100-minute closing, 102 to be exact. Don't forget to like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel. 102 minutes, and you use the phrase beyond a reasonable doubt about 5 times. So that means an average of every 20 minutes you used it 1 time. That's not enough. It needs to come out of your mouth practically every 7 seconds. Empower the jury. When you fail to do that, the jury doesn't know what to do. They go back, they deliberate. They're like, look, she probably did it. Okay, guilty. Let's go home. As a criminal defense lawyer, you have to understand your job. You have to protect your client. It's very, very crucial. And she clearly failed to do that. And the prosecutor gets up here and she's just like, she wants to say, do you all really want to believe that bullcrap? She kind of did. You don't believe your eyes and ears. She's this close to saying common sense, but she doesn't want to say it because she's winning and she knows she's winning and she doesn't want to like get an objection that you're trying to lower the burden and put the burden on us, Your Honor, and like the burden is beyond a reasonable doubt and all, but you didn't do your own job. So anyway, let's keep watching.
A TV repair appointment is not an alibi because she could have changed it to earlier, but she didn't change it to earlier. That's where she was when he was getting killed. That's an alibi. This TV, that doesn't mean, that's not code, that's a hint. A hint for what? It's code. What does it involve? The 2 of us. Oh, well, that actually means it doesn't involve the 2 of us because we're being extorted, we're victims, it doesn't involve us. So what does it involve? The 2 of us actually means it does not involve the 2 of us. That's what we've heard. A one-way non-extradition ticket to Vietnam?
Vacation.
It's not fleeing. It's a setup. How did I set her up? I didn't make her do that. I didn't get her a fast-track visa. I didn't get her a one-way ticket. She did that. She made those choices.
And by the way, with the strategy that I just mentioned, you may still lose, but that's the best shot you have, is what I'm trying to say.
Wendy didn't bother to tell her mom she was ready to give up on the relocation. Yes, she did. Look in the emails. She was giving up, and Donna wasn't having it. That's when she gets the totally unhinged email from her mother suggesting, you're not going to give up. You want to move on with a sense of peace? Hell no, we're going to fight this guy. We're going to dress your kids up as Nazis. That's what happened when when Wendy suggested giving up. Never, never, never give up, right? This murder charge is not based on the fact that she said some bad words. I mean, I'd be facing murder just in this courtroom. Obviously, people. That is not what this case is about. You've got to look at all the evidence. I mean, it is death by 1,000 cuts. It is powdered sugar. You got to look at the whole thing and make a decision.
The whole thing, right there. The whole thing. Stop cherry picking like the defense just did. Look at the whole thing. It doesn't get simpler than that. Look at the whole picture. Don't just try and look at evidence in isolation. Of course it's not going to work. That's what she wants you to do. No, look at the case as a whole, and you'll see that she's guilty. That's a good argument. I'm sorry. I'm with the prosecution on this one. And call me what you want, but I'm telling you, I call them the way I see them.
Smoking gun, but she was too smart for that. She thought about it. She planned it. She made sure we could never get her, right? She took precautions, but she did make mistakes, and that's what all those exhibits are. Mistakes. My spin and the spin I'm putting on all the evidence, that's not, it doesn't matter what my spin is. It's your spin. You look at the evidence, you decide. I tell you what I think it shows. They tell you what they think it shows. Here's the other side. And what do they think it shows? They don't have to prove anything. I have to prove the case. Yes. But what are they saying? Circles. Wendy. Oh no. Charlie, definitely. Wendy, maybe. Not Donna. But also, not Charlie. We were getting extorted. Not Charlie. I mean, you can't have it both ways, right? It's like hard to get your head around it, but we can't be getting extorted by the killers who killed Dan Markel on their own. And also, Charlie's pretty guilty and Wendy looks a little guilty too. It's got it like...
That's a really good
there's
point.
no lane that's been picked.
That's a really good point. I can't believe she
And they
caught
don't
that.
have to prove anything, but they're throwing all that out, right? And it's like, you were getting extorted, or Charlie and Wendy did it behind your back and they don't tell mom what they're doing. Can't charge Donna because Charlie already went down for this. No, that's not true. Everyone that's responsible for this murder should be held accountable for their role, not just Charlie, not just the two killers that came here and shot him. Everyone that played a part in it should be held accountable. They said some things in their closing that doesn't comport with my recollection of the evidence. For example, Corbett said that the defendant did not send the evite. My recollection is the complete opposite. You guys took notes, you have remembrances, you guys rely on your own memory. I don't want to go through every single thing, but there were a few of those. The only complaint from a 3 and 4-year-old was, Grandma says you're stupid. Oh, that's dumb. Well, no, I remember that the kid also said, Grandma hates you. Rob has an axe to grind.
And by the
Mary
way,
Hall's-
I think I don't know if I misspoke in a previous video, or maybe I misunderstood, or you misunderstood me. I just want to set the record clear. I want to set the record straight and make the record clear. Here we go. Rob Adelson, I think, based on everything that I've seen and everything that I've heard, has clean hands. There you go. I've said it. I honestly think he had zero involvement. That's why Donna dismissed him. And she was like, you don't know anything anyway. You talk to the FBI, who cares? You don't know anything anyway. That was the proof that Rob was innocent and is innocent. He's got clean hands. He has no involvement in this. I can't find any indication to indicate otherwise, just for the record.
Said that the Adelson Institute was Charlie's until 2022. Not my recollection, but hopefully you remember that it changed hands in 2015. No SunPass records. Do you need SunPass records to know that Donna Adelson was outside Charlie's house on the night of the murder? We didn't know that. Catherine Nibanoa told us when I got to Charlie's, he told me his parents had just come, right? And brought the money. But when we looked in the records, there's a text outside your house corroborating what she said. That's important. She was outside his house. Oh, well, she had the garage code. Why didn't she go in? I don't know if she went in. Maybe she did. She told him, I'm outside your house. He said 10 minutes. He's going to be there in 10 minutes. Maybe she did go in. I don't know. But she was there. That I do know. I don't know why she's denying that. Grandma motion. We disagree with what the words say. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I say the words say, I don't want the kids around Grandma because she's disparaging me. Somebody needs to be there to monitor. They say, no, that's not what it means. It means something else.
These are great
Charlie's
points.
extortion story. She wrote the checks because she had to save her son's life. Well, right. So if that's the case, we're picking lane 2 here, down below. And that's where all that evidence comes up about that pushes back on that. Like, that couldn't happen. They're not going to be spitballing the drug dealer defense years after they've been extorted. Like, that didn't happen. That was a lie, right? That Charlie came up with in his testimony, and that she then kind of got stuck with after saying all the truth is out, truth is out, truth is out. Plus, she's got to come up with something for writing those checks. She paid for the murder. Could you just give me 5 more?
Please continue.
She has for 5 more minutes, I think.
Sanford said he never made a mistake. Not my recollection. What's the pushback on extortion? Her behavior on the wire. She doesn't say, oh my gosh, it's happening again. She doesn't say anything about the prior extortion. If the prior extortion had occurred, she would immediately tell him it's happening again, or some reference to the fact that this is something that's been ongoing. She doesn't do that. Instead, she talks in code. It's a TV. What the heck?
Why
are you talking in code?
Right.
Her Googling extortion versus blackmail 7 days before Charlie's trial. That wouldn't happen if the extortion was real. She wasn't extorted. Charlie didn't tell her there was an extortion because there never was an extortion. She was paying for a murder. She knew it was going to be a murder. She's the one that wanted it done. Her discussion of Charlie's lawyers meeting with Garcia's lawyers. What? If she was being extorted by Garcia and Charlie was being extorted and his life being threatened by Garcia, their lawyers aren't going to be meeting up. Look at those text messages. She said, bring cash. They say, oh, that's not code. She said, bring cash. She literally said, bring cash for dinner on that call. It's not a hint. It's a code word. They say the bump failed. I say the bump succeeded. She said it involved the two of us. That was before we got made, before that Matt Surrey operation where they literally see the camera in the bag and know the camera's in the bag. Yeah, she called and put on a great show when she called the undercover, but what did she say in the first call, the second call, and the third call before we got made, before she knew it was law enforcement? She said it involves the two of us, both of us. To these, okay, I want to hit one more thing. Don't call time on me. 2 years after the murder, we've got 2 emails, 64T and 64I. The defense told you in opening that this defendant cares about others more than she cares about herself. The problem is that she decides what other people need, what's necessary for other people in their lives, and she is willing to justify whatever ends she thinks are needed, right? Any means to get to those ends are justified in her mind. The problem is she doesn't care about the collateral damage to get to her ends. The evidence has shown that this defendant, I think, did believe that Wendy and those boys were better off in South Florida. She thought that's what they needed. They would be better off with her, and she was angry that that couldn't happen. Dan Markell is the thing standing in the way. What was the cost of that to not only Dan Markell, but to those little boys?
And you see how when she speaks plainly, simply, cogently, directly. It just flows. Whereas the defense was like disjointed and remember jumping around and going back in time and forward in time. And it's exhausting. Listening to her, it's like, makes sense. You know, I just want to nod my head and go, yeah, I can see that. Yep, that makes sense. Yep. I can see that. You know, your gut instinct is just agreeing with her, and that's not good. If you're the defendant, this is not good.
Those little boys lost their father. Look what she says in 64T. Children are 2 and 3. Children do not even have a memory of life before age 5 or 6. Look what she says in 64II when Wendy is concerned. This is 2 years after the murder. Her child is having trouble at school, crying because he misses his father. And this woman, this nice grandmother, innocent woman, says, quote, I still do not believe that Ben is sad about his father. Quotations on the sad. 64II. I still do not believe that Ben is sad about his father. I spend a minimum of 25 hours a week with him, and oftentimes more than that, including weekend times and sleepover days, and have never experienced a time when he was sad. I think it's just another phase of the many, many phases that kids go through. The problem is they have a highly intelligent and sensitive mom. She doesn't believe that this kid is sad because she can't take accountability for her own actions and the catastrophic consequences that this had on everyone's life in her family. Not just her son, not just her daughter, not just Rob, not just Dan Markell, but those boys who lost their father. It wasn't better for them to be in South Florida. It was better for them to have their father. You must not base your verdict on the feelings of sympathy, prejudice, bias. Your verdict must be based on the evidence and the law. Yes, she's a grandmother. Most murderers don't look like that. But the evidence has revealed what she is. Please don't let her appearance influence your verdict in any way. It involves the two of us. What about the script? They didn't even talk about the script. She wrote a script for a witness.
Right.
That was
well, she mentioned it briefly. She mentioned and she was like, here you go. You write, remember? You write, or whatever it was. But that was it.
Testimony about, based on a lie, an extortion lie that's been proven in court to you to be false. This defendant tried to erase Dan Markel, thinking there would be no harm to those little boys. They don't have a memory of their father. They feel the absence of their father. This defendant decided they didn't need their dad. She doesn't get to decide that. She wanted it done.
What a tragedy.
She brought the money. She stroked the check. She didn't have to do that. Charlie was a signatory, had signing power on that account. He could have written the checks. She wrote the checks. Why? Because she was neck deep in this thing. She wrote the checks. She said it involved the two of us. She wrote that script. May you have the strength and the common sense to see this evidence for what it is.
You see how angry she is and like frustrated because she wants justice. I can hear it in her voice. Do you hear it? Compared to when the defense attorney, when she was getting up there and screaming, it just felt like hollow words falling on deaf ears. Here, I'm actually feeling what she's putting down. Let me know in the comments below if you feel the same. And of course, hit that subscribe button on your way down.
There's only one thing. There's only one truth. It can't all be right. It's only one truth. Render a verdict that does justice. Find her guilty. Thank you.
Wow.
In just a few moments.
That's powerful. That right there, folks. That's powerful. I mean, wow. It's amazing how in just a few minutes, she has made me forget the defense attorney was ever up there. Honestly. I mean, I can only imagine what the jury felt. And Wendy and Harvey should be next. But this is why Donna went to prison. This right here is why Donna went to prison. The atrocious handling of the evidence and the closing argument and the cross-examinations by the defense. The inability to present a proper defense. Even if you don't have one, you can create one. That's what defense work is all about. But you got to make it cogent. You got to make it consistent. You got to spend time. You got to work on it. This is a huge case. I don't know how much she got paid to represent Donna, but it's irrelevant. Even if she was doing it for free, it's irrelevant. You have to present a proper defense. We'll talk about the appeal in a separate video, but folks, let me tell you that I hope Wendy does not get away with this. I hope Wendy is next, and then Harvey, because there is no way that Wendy is innocent. She is complicit in all of this. And then you want to tell me Harvey sitting next to Donna this entire time? I mean, granted, he was like 3 steps removed from like Katie McBanowa, right? Katie was talking to Charlie. Charlie was talking to Donna. Donna was talking to Harvey. The chain is still there. I don't think the prosecution's done. Justice has been done up until this point. The killers are in jail. Tuto and Tato, whatever. Katie, she's in jail. Charlie's in jail. Donna, spoiler alert, she gets convicted. And up next, we got Wendy and Harvey, and then maybe the circle will be complete. Those poor boys growing up without a father, now without a grandmother, and soon without a mother and a grandfather, probably. I don't know. I hope so. I hope so. Anyway, folks, I hope you all learned something. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I love every single one of you, and we're going to continue this train going, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye, everybody.